Welcome back to the Only Points podcast with your hosts, Alexis Martinez, Eddie Mercado, and Eddie Garcia. Again, with another special guest, you guys. We're back in Vegas. The boys are back in town with our special guest, Naim Garcia, my brother, since we're both Garcia.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, of course. Super excited to have you here. So Naim is a really good friend of ours here in Vegas. He works here with Mo, and we're all part of this crew. He specializes in Turo car rental business, and this is why we want to have him here. So I will have him introduce himself. Go ahead. Tell our viewers who you are.
What's going on, guys? My name is Naim Garcia. Like he stated, his brother. And I'm a 20-year-old entrepreneur here that owns a car rental company where I started from Turo, and I do direct to consumer, but still do Turo as well. And I also have my other different companies and things I do.
Beautiful, beautiful. So tell us a little bit about yourself. That we always want to go and talk about how we first met, your background, where'd you grow up, stuff like that, and then how you got into what you're doing now. So I think anybody that comes in Vegas, we always all met them through Eddie first. Like I think
it's always through Eddie.
I was always through Eddie.
Always great people, though. Yes.
Yeah,
always great people.
Obviously,
if they got Eddie approved stamp, you already know.
Yeah, so
it's very hard to make them like you.
Exactly. So if you want to talk about that, how did we meet, and how was that?
Honestly, I met Eddie in probably one of the weirdest situations.
Mercado, right?
Yeah, Mercado, in a very weird situation.
Oh, all right, say it. Yeah.
Say it.
And I was just here another day in the office, and some guy walked in, didn't really know who he was. He was here to see my business partner, Mo. And Mo was like, hey, can you just take him back to their hotel? So I was like, yeah. And it was him and some girl, and they were just bickering in the back, like randomest conversation I heard of two people. And that's like the first time I met Eddie. About a week later, he was telling me, he lived in California at the time, so he was telling me like he was gonna move here and stuff. Got each other's social medias, and he was like, I guess, impressed with where I was. And he's like, oh, keep your thing up. And then little by little, he started coming to Vegas more, got to meet him a little bit more. And I guess our friendship grew through there.
So what were you guys fighting about? It, bro. Come on, we gotta know.
I guess it doesn't matter anymore. Like it doesn't matter because I don't remember. But it was just some
boy and girl drama.
Yeah.
Not even it. It wasn't drama. What was it? It was just
some type of kink.
I just didn't want to go out to eat. I didn't want to I just wanted to chill. Basically, I just wanted to chill. I'm in Las Vegas for like 2-3 days. I just wanted to chill, and whatever that translates to, that's all I wanted to do. But then no, she wanted to go out to eat. So I was like, oh yeah, perfect. Let's just go to the strip, whatever. It doesn't matter. But no, she specifically wanted to go to Wynn, and I'm like, okay, Wynn. I'm looking at maybe like $150-$200. That's exactly how much I spent, and for something or someone that I was just here to not even see. I was just here partially, right? And I was telling her, I was like, we're just going to get dropped off. And I was like, I'm going to cancel your Uber, that kind of stuff. And she's thinking, yay, that kind of stuff. But yeah, obviously dumb shit. Stuff to piss her off because I thought that we were just going to rage and chill.
Rage and chill. That's a weird combination. But awesome. How I forget how we met, to be honest with you.
Through me.
Honestly, it's probably some event that we were together. I call you guys the Twin Towers now.
Big facts.
What the hell? When are we going to fall?
Just because you guys are both Eddie's tall. Every time you guys are at an event, you guys are always together.
So from now on, you got to be like at least 10 feet away from me. At least.
Oh my goodness.
And you guys are always the tallest people in the room.
That's
I feel tall around my friend group and the people I associate myself with. So it's like you two are technically like the tallest people. There's probably 1 or 2 people you guys are taller than, but shorter than, but yeah.
Wow.
So probably some event that was thrown. I feel like networking events here in Vegas now has been more of like a friend meetup just because everyone knows each other.
And that's terrible. I don't like that you say that, but that's like facts.
That's true.
Maybe like 10%, 15% are different of people every time, but it's usually the same circle.
It's a hangout type thing.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
And I'm guilty. I go to networking events and I hang out with my friends. I don't care to meet the new 10% of people. I'm just like, I get social anxiety sometimes. So I'm just like,
no, I totally get it. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, actually,
it's the same thing, really. Like I know that I've seen you around with some Mo's event probably. So
yeah.
I just can't remember which one, but I've been to a few of them, so I've seen you around,
Yeah, it's the same thing, just I guess
But it's always through Eddie, you know.
As always, Eddie verified. No, but okay, cool, sweet. Because I remember, like, especially when I met everybody and coming, I would always, especially coming to this very office, I was like, all right, who is everybody here? What the fuck does everybody do? How did you get started? Like, first of all, actually, tell us a little background on yourself. Where were you born? Where you raised? Life struggles. How did you come here, basically?
So I grew up in El Salvador, San Salvador, the capital.
What? I did not even know that.
Yeah, so I grew up there. I lived until I was 4.
Were you raised there?
Until I was 4.
Were you born there too?
Yeah, I was
And
born
You have
there.
the mark of the beast.
Yeah, I do.
Wow, there you go.
I always hit him with that.
Yeah, that's my my immigrant stamp. I love
Your
it.
official stamp.
But yeah, so I grew up in El Salvador till I was 4, and then we got our visas to come here and overstayed our visa. So we moved to Vegas originally. My mom had like a boyfriend at the time, so we moved here. And then 9 months into living here, it just kind of got to a place where my mom didn't want to live here anymore. So my godfather actually drove from Miami because we couldn't fly. He drove from Miami all the way here to pick us up and then drove back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like what, 2 days?
It's 36 hours, yeah. So 36 hours here, 36 back.
Yep.
So he drove here, he picked us up. Thankfully, everything went smoothly. And I grew up in Miami until I was 17, until I graduated high school. So Miami's basically my hometown. I don't say I grew up in El Salvador because I feel like my childhood, anywhere from 0 to 4 years old, I don't really remember. So Miami's like where I grew up and kind of my roots.
So you're a toxic boy.
No, I'm
You
an
grew up
island
in
boy.
Miami.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
an island boy.
Good rebuttal there.
No, so and then growing up, I was an immigrant family, so my mom always found ways to make money. She kind of finding different jobs, jumping different things until she finally met my stepdad, we kind of got into like a more financially better situation. And then the 2008 crisis hit with everything, so he lost his house, his car, his job, and it kind of like pushed us all the way down to the bottom. And at that time, I really didn't understand. It was kind of like we went from an apartment in Sunny Isles, like on the beach that my mom could barely afford, to like this nice house in like a nice suburban neighborhood, and then back to like a little apartment. And it was 7 of us, so my 2 grandmas, my 2 sisters, my mom and dad, and me in a 3-bedroom apartment. So we were cramped up. I never had my first room till I was 14, so always kind of like sharing space.
I think it's super dope to like convivir con la gente, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to live like that super tight.
Yeah, it was like,
not to the point where like.
Yeah. So my mom would always travel. So Florida's very central. I guess like living in Vegas, 2 to 3 hours away, you could be in 4 different states, right?
Yeah.
Miami or Fort Lauderdale, like 3 hours, you're still in Florida. 8 hours, you're basically still in Florida. So she would always travel in Florida. She got her license in she became a masseuse, is that what they're called?
Yeah, masseuse.
Yeah, so she got her licensing in that, so she would travel to different locations, and we're short staffed, so she would travel always. So my mom was never really there, and my stepdad just decided to do Uber at the time because he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get into this where I could travel with your mom to make sure she's always safe, and just be with her on the road and be able to work where she is. So I grew up. My grandma basically raised me, and then when I got to the age of like 10, 11, I was introduced into shoes. And shoes is basically kind of where I got like my first hint of like trying to make my own money.
At 10?
At like 10 years old, yeah. So I was in 3rd grade. I just moved to this new neighborhood. And my friend, I went to his house and he had all these shoes, right? And at the time I only wore Pumas and Skechers. So
Hold on, what age was your friend?
He was my same age, but he had all these shoes.
Already?
Because his dad was Birdman's manager or something.
Okay.
So he was like in the music industry.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, at the time, I didn't know who Birdman was or anything, so it was just somebody that... It was just, like, cool. I guess he's an artist, And I went into his house, and, like, he had this nice apartment in the same neighborhood, but he had, like, this big projector in his wall, and, like, he showed me his closet, and, like, I'm, like, fascinated by these shoes. So, obviously, like, I go home, and I tell my parents about it and stuff, and, like 3 months later, they bought me my first pair of Jordans. It was a pair of CP3s, and I, like, fell in love with these shoes. Fast forward, I would only get like shoes on like special occasions, whether it's like back to school or like a birthday or something. So it was back to school season it was back to school season, and I went to the mall to get a pair of shoes, and I bought a pair of LeBron 9s. I think they're called the Dunkmen, and at the time there's these shoes called the Galaxies. If people are watching this that are shoe heads, understand. I was
about to say that. I was like, you're just saying things like like we're versed. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. So like there's these Galaxies, and like for example, some of these shoes now are upwards of $1,000. So these shoes that were there, and I didn't want to wait because I was such an eager kid. I was like, I want these shoes today. Like, I want to wear them to school tomorrow. And I didn't want to wait for the specific shoe that I wanted, which to this day I own. I bought a pair recently because they're like my favorite shoes. And they're called the Big Wing LeBron 9s. And I was like, no, I'm not going to wait. And I got these shoes. A month later, these shoes are limited edition, the ones I didn't get. And I saw that they were going for like double the price. And that's when I understood like what I could do with shoes. So after that, I started camping every night, every Saturday morning to night at a mall with all my friends. And I would be making about like $150 to like $300 a weekend. I would camp out for raffle tickets. This was before like an actual online raffle was. So you make a line, you'd go to every single shoe store. So it'd be like Finish Line, Foot Locker, Champ, and you could get a grade school size and an adult size.
Aren't they owned by the same company?
Yeah, but all the different stores in the mall would be there.
Correct.
And each store gets like a certain amount of shoes. So like the farther you are in line, the least chance you can get of getting your size. And a lot of people don't have time to make a line, but they know that if they buy your ticket for $20, $30, they can still sell the shoe for double and still make their profit.
Correct. Everybody wins.
Huh?
Everybody wins.
Yeah, so I would literally camp out, and I would, every Saturday with all my friends, we'd be there from like 5, 6 in the morning all the way to like 10 p.m. And we'd get every single tickets, and I would just had my clientele of people, all these older men buying my tickets, and I'd always be selling these tickets and stuff. And that's when I started buying like my own shoes, and I started like, you know, kind of buying my own things, whatever the case was, what I needed my money for. And yeah, that's like the first time I got into like making my own money at like 10, 11 years old.
A taste of entrepreneurship at that point.
I was collecting cans at 10.
Yeah.
Damn. I was selling chocolates outside of Walmart.
What were you doing?
I don't think I was doing anything at 10. I started late, more like around 18.
He was picking his nose at 10.
I was probably
Wow.
doing that, yeah.
Comiendo mocos.
Sick hustle.
Yeah, so I got into that, and then unfortunately, you know, it lasted a good amount of time. I had a lot of fun, but then it got into the actual raffles where it was all luck, you know, pick base and stuff. And even now it's rigged. You know, if you know someone at the store, you're getting called. If you don't know someone at the store, you're probably not going to get called.
Well, you being the toxic boy, you have to know somebody at the mall.
Which here in Vegas, thankfully I do now, but back when I first moved there, no. But
Perfect.
So I did the shoe game. When that kind of shifted, I got into fixing phones.
So when was that?
This is still in Miami.
This is all in Miami, yeah.
Yeah. And so now how old are you when you
Probably
shifted?
12, 13.
So the shoe game lasted 2.5 years, 3 years.
Well,
It's still
the
going
reselling of like the tickets.
For you.
Myself.
Yeah,
but I
for
still
you.
had like, I probably had like a $10,000 collection at that time. And like I was selling my shoes, flipping shoes still. Like between friends and stuff, you know, I'd buy like your shoes for $50 and sell it to them for 80, and just like, you know, whatever the case may be, and make my money. But then I got into something that I thought could be easier. It was when everyone had like their iPhone 4s and 5s and stuff. So I started fixing screens.
Yes.
So I got into fixing iPhones, and then the iPhone 6 came out, and then that was like a whole different like tempered glass and how to remove the whole back and stuff, and because the back was not glass anymore, it was like that. I don't even know what material.
Finish,
yeah, it was a metal finish. I was like, cool. So that's when I got into my traditional selling candy and stuff in school. And I remember, I guess like at one point my mom kind of made this like thing almost make me feel like I hated my dad for not being in my life, because my dad was in Boston doing his own thing. And I was like making a lot of this money selling stuff, and like I made this one video, and I don't know where it is. And I was like bashing my dad. I was like, Dad, look, like I'm making all this money. I don't need you and this. And it was kind of like, you know, me being a kid, like being
He did
like
an
this rebel.
Instagram reel without Instagram being invented.
He had a soliloquy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that. I started selling candy and stuff, and then we're probably around the age when I'm like 15 now.
Hold on. Because this is a very like you have to like really think deep to ask this question. When you were fixing screens,
Yeah.
do you think that Apple changed the way they made their phones so that people like you wouldn't take their customers, and so that if I crack my screen, I have to specifically only go to Apple?
I think so. I mean, the iPhone 4, like you literally had 2 bolts under your phone. It was just 2 bolts, and then you remove them and you could just slide it off like that. You could literally replace the back of a phone in 3 minutes. It's crazy how like easy they were to take apart.
And
I don't know how it was back in the day, but I know for these days, like if you want to do that, you
like
need special
laser,
equipment.
yeah.
You need
can't
to
just
heat
buy
up the
like a
glue.
screen.
You need to detach.
Yeah.
No, not even that. Like,
Like
besides the screen,
a heat
you need
gun
like
too, right?
technology to like pair it with your phone. Otherwise, like the iPhone Face ID won't work. is
Wow.
because Apple doesn't want you to do that.
Yeah.
That is the biggest BS ever.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
yeah.
that I thought about it. I was
I mean,
maybe?
like business wise, it makes sense.
It makes sense,
So
right.
my,
Always,
my
always.
entrepreneur side, my business owner side is like applause to you, Apple. But at the same time, it's like, dude,
It's
you're
not friendly
you're-
for the third
But
parties.
it sucks for the customer because at the end of the day, the lack of choice for the customer is what
Yeah.
really hurts the
Yeah,
client.
Exactly,
they obviously don't care. They want control.
Yeah, obviously, which makes sense. I don't.
100%.
And now everyone pays for Apple Care.
That's true. Yep. Okay. So now you're 15 years old. Now you move into what?
I'm still in Miami. Still doing. Just got out like the candy business. I'm in high school now, and I want to
What a
get.
sweet boy.
I finally tell my mom like, hey, like it's been 10 years. She just got her citizenship. Like we got to do something like about myself. Like I'm still like an immigrant. So I applied. My mom asked for me to be a resident of the United States, and I got my green card finally. So as soon as I got my green card, I got my driver's permit, and then I got my first job. I worked at a grocery store called Publix.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Popular.
Yeah.
Yep. We know.
And I worked there for 2.5 years until I moved here. But
And you moved here when you were 17.
17, yeah.
When-
I'm about to turn 18.
When
Okay.
look at the camera and answer this question. When were you making music videos?
When I was 15.
Yeah.
All right. So what happened there?
It was a music video. I was just, so like I found
He
out
was
how
a
to
rapper.
make. I found out how to make music on your phone with like your Xbox mic and like just connecting it to like iMovie and like overlapsing your audio and stuff.
yeah, okay.
Like
Mhm.
auto tuning it on iMovie, and
I don't like how I'm the only one that doesn't know shit about audio. I really don't. I really don't. That's why I haven't started TikTok because they're like, oh, you have to pair audio. You have to do this, and that. But go ahead.
so I started making my own music like as a joke with all my friends. Like I would go into the lockers in like school and with my friends, and we'd like get the Apple headphones and we'd hold it and we just like bang on the locker and like we all like kind of freestyle and like I would make songs of it.
Everybody say, Saj, keep it going.
Egg sausage. Yeah, kind of like that. And I mean, that was just like a little hobby thing I did for fun. But
Did
yeah.
you ever go viral there?
No, I never posted anything
Just
of my
Instagram?
music or anything. No.
Oh man, I was like, "Where's this on YouTube? What YouTube channel?"
We
are you following
tried
right
because
now?
the reason why I remember this and this is like I promise you I didn't prepare for this, but back when the homie was living in Pano, I remember we turned the TV on. They're like, let's put Naim on, and I was like, Naim. I was like, for real on YouTube? Like I would have been like, you know, like, oh, totally fine. You know, somebody living in Las Vegas doing their thing on YouTube, and then like, no, this guy raps. This guy's the rapper, and I was like, oh shit. So I was like, for sure.
Yeah, my alias was Nikon Blanco. And it was because Kodak Black was coming up and he was from the same county, which is Broward County. And Nikon's another camera company.
Wait, Kodak Black is from
Broward County, yeah, Florida.
From Florida?
Yeah,
Damn, I always thought he was a Calabasas baby.
No, he's from Florida.
There
He
you
grew
go.
up- Yeah. So Nikon's another camera, and then I was like, well, Blanco is like describes me better, so I was like Nikon Blanco. And that was like, I mean, I have one song still, which I'm not gonna play, but
No,
that-
we'll find it for
We'll
sure.
find it
We'll
and we'll
find
put it
it,
on the
don't worry.
podcast.
And
We're gonna link it.
Here it is. It's been playing in the background this entire time.
Yeah.
that I had one
Subliminal.
in Spanish that I lost. Like I had a few good songs that I thought were hilarious. Like I wish I sat them to this day because it was just funny. Like it wasn't something that I took seriously.
You know what? If anybody is out there watching this, I did like when I was in middle school, my friends did like YouTube was popping up and the whole funny like this was back like to middle school 2008.
Mhm.
So 2 years after like YouTube started, we started a channel
Okay.
and it was like just funny like we were kids, so what we find like my daughter when she tells me like, Daddy, you gotta watch this funny video, I watch it, it's not funny. Like I don't find it funny because I'm an adult, right? But for her it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm like, oh yeah, that was so funny, ha ha ha, right? and I'm like, damn, and I wonder how funny it was back to us.
Yeah.
So like we were trying to recreate. So Ryan Higa was like
Nigga
Higa was very popular. You know those really dumb funny videos. So we were making videos like that, and I think some of them didn't blow up, but like we got way more views than we were expected. And then our middle school is a private Catholic middle school, and our teacher told us you gotta stop, or we remove your scholarship.
Oh shit.
Oh damn.
Oh yeah, so we had to stop. Which actually, she did everything right for us except that. I'm very. That's the only thing criticism I will have about her. It's like you just don't know where we could have been.
YouTube.
If we blew up with YouTube,
Well,
even
YouTube,
if
yeah.
it was something.
Well, we
stupid,
wouldn't be here right now, so
like-
I'm glad she did that.
Well, it doesn't, that's true. But think about it like Joji. Joji is the
Joji?
guy who wears this
Pink?
like
Yeah.
one man suit,
Mm-hmm.
like a green screen thing, but it's all pink, and will do stupid things on YouTube on the streets for
Mhm.
public embarrassment and just cringe. But he's a music artist now. He's one of the biggest music artists right there. Like, and you were like,
Well,
what
his-
the fuck?
his
Isn't he
entire
the
audience-
random guy. Yeah. But like, that's what I'm saying. But that's cool that you did that. It was just like something for fun.
Yeah, it was just
Ru-
something for fun,
ruined
just
the
finding out how to do
the
something.
long-term game, because that's what YouTube is truly.
Right. Okay. So, 17 years old, you move here. What led for you to move here? What was the reason?
So, we always kind of struggled financially, and Miami is very expensive to live in, right? We were living in a 3-bedroom apartment, back to it, 7 of us, in this little apartment. We were paying $2,400 of rent, and my mom, probably since I was in like 7th, 8th grade, every year she's like, we're moving back to Vegas, we're moving back to Vegas.
Even though she was the one who said she didn't like it after 9 months.
Well, she moved because like she had like the relationship she was going through,
Oh,
and it
okay,
kind of like
okay, okay.
ended, and she was like, well, I'd rather
Why
go to
did she
Florida.
wanted to move back to Vegas?
Just because she just said she missed it. She missed like the atmosphere of being in Vegas and stuff.
It's
and,
in
like,
the atmosphere in Vegas or similar to Miami. Isn't a lot of going out partying.
yeah, in a sense, but I don't know. She just always had this
Okay.
idea. So like all my friends, like every year, like I'd bullshit them, like, oh, I'm moving to Vegas. I'm moving to Vegas. I'm moving to Vegas.
Until he did.
And then finally, it's COVID. It's maybe March, April. My last day of school was March 19th because I was still in high school. So I was a kid that didn't have a graduation and all that, prom or anything. But March 19th was my last day of high school, and I left early that day because I was like tired of school, and like I didn't know that was my last day ever walking onto that campus. And probably like a month later, me and my mom were exercising around our lake in our neighborhood. And I was like, Mom, like, she wanted to get 2 apartments because my sister had a boyfriend and he was going to move into an apartment. She wanted to get 2 apartments and split like $2,000 each to kind of like make living costs cheaper because her boyfriend was going to pay for something. And I was like, why don't we just get a house? And like the cheapest house we could find was maybe like 45 minutes away, somewhere like more secluded away from everything. And it was like $4,000 a month. And she's like, no, like I can't afford that, this, and this. So I was like, why don't we move to Vegas? And I walk around the lake, I pull up my phone on Zillow, and I'm just showing her houses and like how cheap these living here was. And I was like, we should just move here. Like, and my vision was, with the amount of money my parents are making now, we could live so much more comfortable.
Right.
You
here.
could live so much more comfortable, but it all depends, and it was all based off of what your parents were doing back.
Yeah, but I mean, my mom's
Double
job
shoes?
was international, so like she could be anywhere in the world because her job was to travel. So she was an event planner, so she would travel around basically America
Oh,
or
dope.
the other countries.
And honestly, what better than Las Vegas?
Yeah, so she
Right. Oh, shit.
so she was an event planner. So she like threw like Barack Obama's like first party when he was like running for election and stuff. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's some crazy stuff. But so she was an event planner, so she could be anywhere. Her hub didn't have to be somewhere specific.
Right.
And like I said, my stepdad kind of, after he lost his job and everything, kind of trying to get his feet back on the floor. He just did Uber full time. So he was like, well, I could Uber in Vegas. My mom was like, I don't have somewhere to be, so their income was probably gonna stay the
I
same.
wonder if he's giving me an Uber ride. Here. No, I'm playing.
Probably. So I was like, let's just move here. And looking around, obviously, we found some houses and started applying. And the biggest thing was, it was 3 months into COVID, or 2 months into COVID, nobody knew what was gonna like happen.
Yep.
They're like, how are you gonna move across the country, have a job, like pay for this house? Like, so she had to pay like 3 months up front last month, like all these things to like rent a place here. And with like, shipping everything, it was like a $25,000 move that she had to like,
25.
yeah, to like get the house, like all like, it was just to move our stuff was like $10,000.
Wait, did you guys ended up buying the house or did you go?
We rented because she was like, I want to get like a feel for Vegas again. She's like, I don't want to buy something and like hate
and
it.
feel trapped.
Yeah. So I mean, now she wants to move to Colombia next year, so we'll see.
Do you want to move where?
To Colombia.
Yeah, but you guys
go.
are doing better, right?
Yeah.
Much better.
So
Way
she
better.
yeah. So we move. So she finally gets approved for a house, and I'm helping with all this paperwork and stuff, and I get a phone call at my Olive Garden, and I'm eating with my friend, and she calls me. She's like, "Hey, we just got approved for the house. We leave in 10 days."
Wait. You guys are still
In Miami, yeah. She's like, "We just got approved for the house. I just had, she had to put my money down and whatever." And she was like, "We're leaving in 10 days." And that's like the only time I had to like basically pack up my life. And as much as I wanted it, right, I kind of like didn't expect it.
Yeah, it
if that
still
makes
took
sense.
you back.
Yeah, it was a It was like those friggin' hits that you get on like the side of your gut. You're just like,
like it just hit you in the chest and you're like, fuck, this is real. This is happening all of a sudden.
So I quit my job the next day. Obviously I gave 9-day notice. I couldn't give a 2-week notice, but I was like, hey, like I just got news. I'm moving across country. I didn't want to tell my friends because I thought it was going to be like a sorrow thing, right? Every time you see them for the last time, it's like, oh man, we're going to miss you. So I kind of waited on that. And it's funny because I was actually I took a video of when I told my friends and broke the news, and I watched it like 3 days ago for the first time in like 3 years.
You watched what?
The video of when I told all my friends I was moving. Like I set up a camera because I was doing YouTube at the time. So like I set up a camera and I just recorded everything.
There is a YouTube channel of you out there.
There is, and it's just Naim Garcia, and it's from like 17 to like 19. It's like maybe like a year of content, and it's like almost like weekly posting, and it's just like what I was doing.
Why'd you stop?
I think I just started doing more things. Like, so I'll kind of continue. When I moved, so we pack our stuff, we move here, I tell all my friends. And when I got here, I kind of got depressed, right? Because I was like, the only way for me to make friends is school or a job. I can't get a job because of COVID. I just graduated high school, and I wasn't the scholar that was going to go to college.
Did you graduate?
I did.
No, I'm just kidding.
I did. I wasn't the scholar that was going to get like, you know, going to college or whatever. So I was like, what do? I had no friends, nothing. So, you know, Donald Trump helped me out a little bit with some unemployment checks.
There you go.
And I just traveled back to Florida back and forth. I was probably in Florida more the first 6 months I lived here than here. I was flying JetBlue round trip for $80.
For how many?
$80.
Round trip.
Round trip from here to Miami, $80.
That's good.
I love JetBlue.
Because also the COVID.
It was COVID, yeah. COVID, bro, I was on the plane alone. It was cool.
Yeah, so I love JetBlue, but recently all their delays and all their this and that have been incredibly terrible. So
I used to only fly JetBlue, and now I only fly American.
There you go.
Wow, talk about an upgrade.
Well, okay, so actually, I'm going to ask you a very personal question.
Okay.
You can decline it or not. The reason why I'm asking is going to be very important to what you do now, and I'll explain later.
Yeah.
But your mom got this American citizenship. Did you finally get an American citizenship?
I did. So
Let's go.
I think I just turned 17, and I wanted braces. And she...
Don't tell me you became an American citizen just to get braces.
So she was like, kinda. So she was like, I'm going to Colombia next month because our dentist was in Colombia, or orthodontist, whatever you want to call them. And she was like, how about this? Nothing. She's like, when you rush things, nothing ever happens. She's like, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. We'll apply for your citizenship. We'll buy your ticket. We have everything already. We'll just buy you a ticket and say that you have a chip out there. So we bought my ticket to Colombia, and I just sent everything like, hey, like I need to go to Colombia for like, you know, dental work and stuff. And 2 weeks later, my passport came in the mail, and I was an American citizen.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I think within 4 days of me getting my passport, I used it for the first time, and I was in Colombia.
You were already getting tattoos and everything.
Go.
No.
Like that's what the stamps on your passport or tattoos.
So if you guys are listening to this and you guys are not American citizen, go apply for some dental work.
Yeah, go get
That's
dental
what you
work in
need.
Colombia.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helped that they had all the whole vacation booked out already. So just adding my ticket, I just was able to set my whole itinerary. Like I have all this scheduled, and I just use my mom's schedule for my own.
Wait, so this was during COVID too, right?
So COVID started in March. This was like September, October. So a few months, like 6 months before. Yeah.
So
2020.
So COVID did start. It just wasn't the pandemic.
Yeah. So it's funny. I mean, if we go back in time too, I came back from Colombia, and then I went back in December because I had to I did my initial thing in September, October, and then I had to go pick up my trays in December. So I did that, and then I went to El Salvador for my first time since I moved here.
Wow.
And then I was just traveling. I went to Utah the week later with my mom because since she was traveling always, she would always stay extra days and fly us out to certain cities with her.
Nice.
And I remember this one time, my brother, he was a semi-pro Fortnite player, and he got invited to this convention center in California to play professional Fortnite for it was $1 million pot or something.
I remember that. And some stupid, snotty 12-year-old kid one.
No, not that one. But there's a lot of them, but no, it wasn't that one. It's called DreamHack, and we.
Oh, okay.
My dad, my stepmom, and my brother, because it's my stepbrother, they were like, just come with us, meet us there, buy your own plane ticket, but we'll cover everything else. And I just had been traveling so much, my parents were like, oh, like, you're not going. I was like almost failing high school because I was traveling so much. They're like, you're not going. And I told my mom, I was like, look, Mom, I'm 17. If I fail high school, I'll repeat it.
Wait, you're telling this was back when you were in Miami?
Miami. This is like right before I moved here. I told my mom, I was like, I will move. Like, if I don't graduate, I'll take another year. Like, I'm graduating at 17 years old. Like, I'm not like behind. And I was like, and in the case that I graduate, then I graduate. But I told her, I was like, why are you gonna stop me from traveling today if you never know, like, what happens one day when traveling's not allowed or whatever. And when I went to California,
and then you caused a pandemic. That's what's going on.
When I went to California, it was like mid-February, and it was the first time I've ever seen people wear masks because I was at Disney. I was at the Anaheim Convention Center, so people were first started wearing masks and stuff, and then a month later, the whole country shut down. And my mom tells her friends this story all the time because she's like, I can't believe my son told me this, and I listened to him, and the world actually shut down.
Well, let's play this. You needed to get dental work, and you got your citizenship.
Yes.
You said something about what happens when we're not allowed to start traveling, and yeah, this guy's the reason. They're the reason.
Those guys shut the whole world down to prove his mom a point.
Yeah, I got my passport, went to Asia. No, I'm kidding.
So you're living in Vegas now.
Yeah.
No, as you move in,
Yeah.
did you graduate actually?
I did. So the day I started driving from Miami here, because we did a 6-day drive. The day I started driving, I got a call from my guidance counselor because everything was under my name, not my parents. Like, I, signed for them and like put my name on everything, like every teenage kid does. They don't want their parents finding out. And I got a call, and it was my guidance counselor, and he's like, "Hey, are your parents around?" I was like, "Oh no, like, what's up?" He's like, "You didn't graduate." So I ended up paying this kid $150 to take my 11th English 3 first semester while I was driving cross country, and then he finished the class in 10 days when I was still able to graduate with my class.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can't.
You guys hear that? A high school diploma costs $150.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how my GPA, my last couple years in college. I'm not gonna say. How can I say this? I kind of lost it. I'm not gonna say how my 2.3 turned into a 2.9 the last couple of years I was in college, but just know it was a great investment. This was during COVID too, so it was a great investment.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then I think like moving here, like it was an obstacle. The week we moved here, the country was not only shut down because of COVID, but it was a week of all the Black History Month.
Event things.
All the-
The riots.
All the riots. So
Do you ever
when
get
we
stopped
got
in the freeway or what?
no, so when we got to Texas, we couldn't get. There was no hotels available for book. Dallas, Texas, Houston, San Antonio, every city was closed
So
down.
just keep driving.
So we stopped in Austin, Texas, but we stopped in this lake called Lake Travis. And it was like very secluded. It was this one hotel. We were the only people there besides this one other guest. And it was like this one in the place that was open in the middle of like a mountain and stuff in the middle of a lake. But we were traveling, yeah, literally in the middle of
Sounds
nowhere.
like a place people go missing.
Yeah. So it was weird because it was like we were supposed to do an 8-day trip and like, stop in all these places and stuff, but everything was closed down because of all the riots.
That sounds, yeah.
And then the day we got here to Las Vegas, we got the keys to our house, but our furniture didn't get here till the next day. And it was the first day that the strip reopened after COVID.
Gotcha. So you come here to Vegas, first time here, everything's shut down. What do you do for like very first time? Like, what's your first? Do you go get a job? I know you couldn't get a job, and you were a little depressed. You spent a lot of time here, flying back to Miami, but we want to know how'd you got into what you do now. So try to start transitioning into
So first 6 months traveling back to Florida, and that's when I was doing YouTube because it was like I had a lot of free time.
Did you ever get paid?
No, I never got paid on. I probably have like 70 subscribers on that account, but it's cool because it's like a documentary to myself. It's like all the things.
That's why I
did.
want to do YouTube, just to document my life.
Yeah, so I'm doing YouTube again. I started a new channel, which is fun.
We're gonna plug it later.
But so I then the beginning of the year hits. My mom kind of gave me an ultimatum. She was like, "Look, like I was literally in Florida or playing Fortnite when I was home. Like I wasn't doing anything. Kind of like I said, in a state of depression. So.
But you were still getting checks, right?
Yeah, I was still getting like. I forgot how much I was, like $1,800 a month or something.
That's good.
It was like these, and then they finally stopped. And so she was like, look, it's either you move back to Florida and figure shit out over there, or you stay here and like, you get a job here or something. So my last time going to Florida, I went out with a friend from high school and he was doing photography. And he showed me what light painting was, which basically it's a long exposed picture.
Yep.
For people that don't know, it's a long exposed picture that.
You know everything.
I do know a lot of stuff. Yeah.
That's basically very dark, and what basically happens is, since the picture's long exposed, all the light around it
Correct.
basically gets captured. So what he would do is we would go to like an alley where you can't even see a car, and he would do a 15-second photo and highlight the whole car, and then behind it do like lines, and then the picture would come out with this like
Super amazing.
super cool. And I was like so fascinated by it.
You know that I get fascinated by those people that do light exposure and they're drawing
Like the skeletons and stuff?
Yes,
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Because I know how it works, but that takes talent. Because you're technically painting in air,
And then
you
backwards.
can't see what you're drawing.
Yeah.
You have to coordinate it
Yeah,
on top of that.
until it's like 5 minutes later, you step out of the frame and the picture finally realizes,
Yeah.
and then you see it.
And you have to be fast enough to not get captured by the camera too, because if you're too slow, you're like
your
silhouette.
shadow,
Yeah.
your silhouette appears in the background.
So I got back here, and my mom had this camera, so I called my friend, and I got on a 4-hour FaceTime with him, and he was like, yo, like, I was like, please teach me everything. I just want to know how a camera works. And he taught me basically like the introductory things to a camera, like how aperture works, how your f-spot works, how your ISO works, things like
Shutter
that.
speed.
Yeah, all that.
And that took 4 hours?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
On
a really-
FaceTime too.
That's a really long time.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, it was like a 4-hour FaceTime, and he basically taught me everything. And obviously, my biggest thing was like, how do I do long exposures? Like, that was like this cool thing to me. So, I joined the car club here with my Honda Civic, with all these Hondas. So I would go out to the top of the mountains at Red Rock, taking pictures of everyone.
The rice cookers.
Literally, yeah. So
I'll never miss an opportunity to talk. Go ahead.
I started doing photography here, and then when I would travel to Florida, same thing, like taking pictures over there. I also had a girlfriend at the time over there, so that was like my constant back and forth as well, like going to visit her. And one day, my sister, she went to a party, and I picked her up from it, whatever, and she made this friend, which today is in the friend group, and I'll kind of get into who she is in a bit. And one day, she was at my house. She was kind of like living with us half and half. And she was on the phone with this guy, and she's like, yeah, I'm talking to this guy. He has a Nissan GTR. And I was like, mind blown. Like, who has a Nissan? Like, how are you in a Nissan GTR? Like, what is this? And she basically was on FaceTime with him one day, and they were talking. And I just took the phone from her, and I was like, hey, like, what's going on? My name's Naim. I'm a photographer. I'd love to shoot your car for free. And he's like, yeah, come over. So I went to his apartment that night. Didn't know who he was. His business partner was like, let's go downstairs, because he was in a meeting. So he was like, let's go downstairs. I saw the car. He took me around the car in a block, and I'm like this fascinated 18-year-old kid. I'm like, first of all, this isn't your car. Who gave you like, why is he letting you drive it? Fastest car I've ever been in. It's like one of my dream cars, and I'm just like this giddy kid.
To this day?
Yeah. To
To
this
this
day.
day?
It's still one of my dream cars, yeah.
No. One of the fastest cars?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
And I'm so giddy, and I'm like, we get back in the apartment, and his friend's like, yeah, man, like, it's the grocery getter. Like, I just moved here. Like, I use it whenever. Like, it's the only car we have. And I'm just like, and he's like, don't worry, man, you'll get used to this. And it's crazy because, like, hearing those words come out of his mouth, I was like, no, like, what do you say? Like, me getting used to this? No way. So I go back upstairs. I meet him. He turns out he's this cool guy. We go out to get sushi. He lets me sit in the back. He's with this girl.
Of course, it's always sushi.
Sushi Neko, though. Right?
Yeah, sushi. It was
Sushi
sushi
Neko.
Neko.
Of course, it is sushi Neko.
So I hop in the back of the GTR. He's with this girl. Some things never change.
Facts.
Yeah.
And he's launching the car, and I'm just happy to be in a Nissan GTR and stuff. And
Even if it's the trunk.
I don't
care.
eat sushi, but mine, we kind of had a conversation off the podcast about like dressing to impress and whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I'm in the sushi place, like I'm not eating, like I don't like sushi, like I don't want to eat, and everyone's like, no, come on, try it. And I'm around all these new people, so I'm like forcing myself to like eat sushi and try this new food just to like kind of feel like,
To fit in.
yeah, to fit in. So at the end of the night, I kind of told him, I was like, oh yeah, like I go to car meets all the time, like da-da-da. And within the next week, I saw him 4 times. We went to different car meets, and we kind of like built a bond off cars. And that person ended up being my business partner today,
Which is?
which is Mo.
Mo, obviously.
But
Who's the girl that
that was my sister's friend,
Yeah.
Amara.
Oh.
there
Yeah.
you go.
So
there was a few girls that I didn't know. I needed to clarify.
Shout out to
Interesting.
Amara. So Amara introduced me to Mo, technically, yeah.
Nice.
And at the time, me and Mo were friends. I was a personal assistant for a custom motorcycle shop here in Vegas. I was his personal assistant, social media manager, so I was doing photography for all his motorcycles and stuff. Same thing, photography got me into that. A week into photography, I was taking pictures of a RX-7, which I don't know how familiar you are with cars, NFD. And
FD.
at a
It's
car meet,
rotary.
yeah, at a car meet, and there's this food truck there, and some guy pulls me in. He's like, "Hey man, how long have you been doing photography?" I kind of like, I'm a week in. It's like, "Oh, like let me see some of your work." I had like 6 pictures. I was like,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you
Yeah,
go.
but if you want to see more, you know.
this is all I have on me. This is all I have on me.
No. It's like after your 4th, 5th one, I was like, after you show them 5,
Yeah.
you're just like, I can only show you one more though. So I
Yeah.
so show 'em all 6.
He gives me his card and he's like, "Come meet me at my shop. I own the biggest Harley Davidson V-Rod customization shop in the country." And I was like, "Cool." Kind of let it swing by the first day. Second day, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna text him. I DM'd him. I went to his shop, and the night before, I was in the canyon, like I said, taking pictures with my friends, and I broke my lens. So I went to this interview with this one with this one lens I have, and it's I think it was 150 millimeters to 200 millimeters.
Oh.
So it's like this super zoomed in
yeah,
lens. So I walk in, he's like, yeah, like we talked for an hour. He liked where my head was at and stuff. And he's like, yeah, let's show me what you could do. So we go to the back of his shop, and I'm literally cornered to the other bike on the corner trying to get this one bike. And I'm like, yeah, I just ordered a new lens. Like, you know, like it's coming in. Like, I could show you more work, but like I can't. My lens broke yesterday.
Wait, so it's super zoomed in?
Yeah.
So you have to.
As far back, yeah.
Yeah.
So think about a lens that, like, if I had it right here, you would see like that water,
It's
like
like
the
it's
you
a
would see
telescope.
Febreze
It's a
only.
telephoto
Yeah,
lens.
It's a telephoto lens.
you would only see like the Febreze logo. Like it's like so zoomed in. So
Can
I
you see the moon?
Yeah,
No,
I probably had like $200 to my name at that time, and I went on OfferUp, and I just scoured OfferUp for hours, found the lens finally, paid $150 for it.
Was it local?
It was local, yeah.
Nice.
And he was like, "How much are you gonna charge me per shoot?" And you know, at that time, I'm like, people charge $100 for photo shoots or whatever the case is for a bike. I'm like, $20. I like lowballed myself because I didn't know what I was doing. I was a weekend, and he was like, "I'll give you 30." And we shook on it, bought the lens, and I started doing that. And I got into construction for a week. I was remodeling houses here in Henderson. And I think my 4th day.
How long did you last?
4 days.
Yeah.
It was like 7 a.m. to like 5, and I was getting paid $100 an hour, or $100 a day. I would say. And I was just doing it because I was like, I need money. And my 4th day, I go to a photo shoot because he needed me like at 3 p.m. So I left early from the construction site, and I had like paint on my hands. I like changing stuff as much as I could, but like, you know, I still had like residue. He was like, "Hey man, like what are you doing and stuff?" And I was like, "Oh, like, you know," I kind of told him, and I went from just doing his photo shoots to being his like social media manager and then his personal assistant. So I was doing that, and that food truck that I was standing next to, which is now Vito's Tacos. So I basically, which you guys all know what Vito's Tacos is, but at that time it was friends or cousins selling tacos from a garage, and I was like taking pictures of the tacos in a garage of who they are today, and this was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I kind of helped grow Vito's Tacos.
Wait, I didn't
into
even
it
know
today.
that you were a personal assistant and did all this shit.
Yeah.
But this was before you met Mo.
This is like 2 months before I met Mo. And when I met Mo, we were friends for like a month and a half. And I was going to San Fran for a week with my ex, or with a friend. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And Mo, before I left, he's like, "I have a job position if you're open to it." And I kind of like, you know,
Brushed it off.
yeah. I
That's
was
how
like,
he
whatever.
hooks everybody. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
I kind of like brushed it off. I was like, and I talked to my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I don't know, like I love what I do, and I was making like $2,500 to $2,800 a month, and that was good money for me. Like
That was photography?
yeah, photography and like assistant.
Okay.
And like I was working my own hours. Like I could take days whenever I want off, and I was like, I don't have any bills. Like at the time, my parents were still paying for my car insurance and stuff. So like I literally had nothing. All $2,800 was coming in my pocket, and I was like,
Except for
balling.
your phone bill.
No.
Who
What
was
do you
paying
mean?
for your phone?
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
That's what I thought. No, I'm just kidding. So you go to San Francisco?
So I go to San Fran, I come back, and I think about it, and I'm like, So I probably text him like 3 days after I'm back. I'm like, "Hey man, I'm back. Like, when can we have a interview?" And I was the next day after work. I went to Panorama Towers, and it was Jonathan and Mo sat me down, had like an hour interview with me of like full entrepreneurship and what I was gonna do. And this is when I guess like learned about e-commerce like full hand. And I was like, okay. I did a part-time. They were gonna match my old job at $15 an hour, like when I was his personal assistant. And I was like, cool, whatever. Like extra money doesn't hurt. And as I started doing that, Mo, maybe a week and a half later, he's like, "I want you full time." I was like, "I can't. Like I love what I'm doing." He's like, "No, I want you full time." I was like, "No," and he was like, "What do you like?" He basically just threw money in my face. He was like in a way, like he was like, I'll give you $15 an hour. I'll give you 5% if you close this, 10% of this. Like just started throwing me percentages of everything. And he's like, so average you'll be making this a month. And I mean, I'm comfortable saying the number, but it was like maybe like $5 to $6 grand a month, like starting off. So like double my income.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I went to my, the person I was working with. He's kind of like a mentor to me too, still to this day. And I walk up to him, and I'm honest, you know, I'm like, hey, like I've been working part-time with Mo. And he just offered me this, and he was like, honestly, like, I don't want to hold you back. Like, it'd be stupid not to take this. Like, he's throwing money at you. Like, he's giving you money, like giving away money to you. And I was like, okay. So I replaced myself at the other job. So I didn't just leave him stranded. I replaced myself, found him somebody else to take over my position.
JC?
Yeah, JC, which is my best friend today. I replaced myself with my best friend, and then I worked with Mo full time. And that's when I first got into entrepreneurship. I guess like full time, like.
Yeah.
Not even like that. Like my whole job was entrepreneurship, like e-commerce, like.
I don't think this is a job. I just think this is a lifestyle hustle type thing.
Yeah. So I started learning how to like do like first going into like LLCs and like EINs and like.
Yeah. So okay. So when you start working for Mo, what exactly were you starting off doing? Because
So,
you guys didn't.
what
do
were
the
you
whole
doing that
Turo
was paying you
stuff right
5,
away,
6,
right?
10?
No, I was chat manager, and at the time Walmart automation was a huge thing.
Oh.
So I was like doing all the onboarding for Walmart automation. So I was like making sure the client basically had all the information, getting everything started, submitting it to our VA, making sure our VAs, and then I would hop on the Zoom calls on the Walmart application to like make sure they got approved and stuff. So I was doing basically like the whole back end process.
You were doing the onboarding process.
Yeah, the whole onboarding process with Elijah. And you know, every deal, like if I closed my own deal, he'd give me this much percentage, or any deal that was closed, I'd get this. You know, at first it was like a retainer, it was like $150 any deal that the company closed, and then it was percentage and stuff. And so I did e-commerce for I guess like full time for like 6 months.
At that time, that's when the office had culture.
Yeah.
Everybody showed up on time.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody
it
here.
was literally a 9 to 5. We'd get here at like 9 o'clock. Everyone left at 5. Like we were all working as a team. You know, we had our own things going on still as well, but it was like a 9 to 5. Felt like an office. Like at one point, Mo was like, "Oh, like you guys are being distracted. A phone's in the office when you walk in. Like you can't have your phone." Like it was like a job.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's discipline. That's discipline. I love it. So okay, so you came into this environment, this culture,
office.
this very same office where we're recording in right now, and you started working with Mo. When did the whole? Because now what you do is you have your own car rental business.
Yeah.
Again, through Turo or private rental.
Yeah.
How did that came to be?
So, Mo, when I left my other job, Mo bought my old boss's car. He bought a 2019 AMG C63.
What car is that?
A Mercedes.
Oh, Mercedes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he bought my boss's old car, and like I connected the deal. He bought it cash from him, and Mo had his Nissan GTR still. So me and Mo cross countryed his car to Miami.
Yeah.
And while we were there, Mo was gone for a week. So he had this girl that had 2 Teslas for rent here in Vegas, pick up the car and rent it. And by the time that we were gone, the amount of time that we were gone basically in Miami, the car made enough money for a wrap. It was like 7 days, 8 days. And when Mo came back, obviously his car was wrapped and stuff, and he was like, I want to buy more cars. So he started buying more cars and stuff, and he bought the i8 and the G-Wagon. And she was running the cars for him, but eventually like it got to the point where I was doing everything but not getting paid for it, if that makes sense.
Hold on. Don't say the name, but what's the first initial of this person's name?
A.
Okay, I know. Okay, keep going.
So, so like she was doing everything, quote unquote, but like I was basic. Like I would be the one taking a picture of the car, showing people the car and stuff. You know, like, I mean, I was driving every car too. Like we had
No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
She had another investor too. So like I got like to drive a Maybach, a C8. I got to drive like all these nice Cadillacs and stuff that they had on this fleet and stuff.
So essentially, what you heard a year and a half prior was becoming true, which is you're gonna get used to it.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah, so I started driving all these cars, right? Like, kind of getting freelance all these cars, and it's crazy because there was an incident that happened when we cross country to Miami, that I never thought I'd be able to drive like Mo's car ever again, or like ever be trusted with a sports car, which was Mo left me his GTR in Miami. He left 3 days before me, and like I said, I had a girlfriend at the time there, so he left me his car. So I was in my hometown in a Nissan GTR for 3 days, you know. At 18 years old.
Just pass by your friends like, oh, hey, I didn't know. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know, just driving this GTR. Yeah.
I pulled up to every single friend, fucking 18-year-old kid.
Yep.
And the last day, I was dropping it off to the warehouse. I was gonna get it wrapped because we were like reconditioning the car and stuff. And my ex had a Mustang, so we were driving down the.
No, don't tell me.
We were driving down the highway, and it was a pretty big day because it was like the day that a building fell in like Key Biscayne or something in like South Beach.
Yeah.
It was like a big building fell, and I'm driving down the freeway. They paced me at 120 for 5.5 miles, which there's no way they were chasing me for 5.5 miles going 120. Like it was raining. I was like, there's no way. But she was following me, because like I didn't give her the address, so she was following me. We were just driving, and they pulled both of us over. There was 8 cop cars, 14 deputies on site. They took my keys from me. They told me the car's getting impounded and I was getting arrested. And Mo's license plate was "Why So Mad?" So the cops hated that. The cops were like, literally like the worst cop experience I ever had. My ex was like kind of like fighting back because she was part of like the deputy police department in like another department. And they were like, next time I see you, I hope I find you in a grave. Like just some like dark ass shit.
Wait, who was saying that?
The cops. And then they found out we were dating.
Why are they so mad though?
Yeah, and then they found out we were dating, and they're like, oh, have you ever been to jail? Oh, like it's a Romeo and Juliet story, like both of you guys going to jail together, like kind of like, you know, harassing us the whole time. Yeah. Eventually, like he came.
Being on Scared Straight.
Dude, I'm like on the phone with Mo. I'm like, bro, your car must have just got impounded. He still has a picture of when I FaceTime him with the cops, and I'm like,
He has a lot of pictures and videos of you.
He's crying.
I'm like, so sorry. I'm like just trying to stay calm. I'm like, okay, like, you know, and he comes back. He gives me a ticket for going 50 over the speed limit, which is like I think it was a misdemeanor, or I don't know, a big ticket. Then I got a ticket for the window tint. Then I got a ticket for drag racing. So I got 3 tickets. They gave her the same 3 tickets, but she didn't have illegal window tint, but she had a banner, so they gave her that. And we dropped off the car. We drove straight to a ticket clinic, and it was like maybe like 5 days before my first like big paycheck was ever gonna hit, and it was like $2,800 like in 2 weeks. It was like my first big paycheck, and for both our lawyers, it was $2,400. And I remember just sitting there, and I was like, I don't have the money right now. I had my first credit card I could discover in a Wells Fargo card with like maybe like 1,500 max limits on both.
Don't talk to me.
And I called a friend, and I was like, hey, like I need a loan of like $800. I'll pay you back in like a week. And I paid $2,400 to like basically have both our lawyers, because I felt bad for her. You know, I was like, I'm paying for both our mistakes.
Right.
And it was just such a wake-up call. I was like, my first ever time making money, I can't even like enjoy it. Like it was gone. And I remember like just the embarrassment. I was like, if Mo had to fly back here, they impounded his car. Like, can you imagine like the trust would just be like gone.
Right.
Yeah. So I came back, you know, a few months later, the car rentals started coming along and stuff, and everything, thank God, that didn't like affect this mindset of like how I was with reckless cars and stuff. And I honestly, I'm glad it happened, because it did teach me a lot about cars and like safety and stuff, and like not being reckless with these cars. Because at that time, if I probably was in
You were 18, bro.
Yeah.
You were 18.
I was like,
totally understandable, bro.
So, yeah, so he was working with this chick, and I started doing everything but like off books type thing. Like she'd be like, oh, I woke up late, can you clean this car? Like, you know, like I said, we were here 9 to 5 every day. Oh, someone's jumping off the car, can you take pictures? Can you go clean it? Like, you know, all this like secondhand things I was doing, and not getting paid $1 for it. So Mo initially, the day of EDC, wanted to go buy the new Toyota Supra. And he was like, let's go buy it. He bought it, and I was like, look, man, like, let me rent this for you. I was like, I will rent this car for you. And he gave me the car to rent. And then after EDC weekend, one of the cars that she rented out got re-rented after EDC weekend, and she left cocaine in the car from like someone that left in EDC, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on the podcast, but
It is on the podcast now.
yeah, she left drugs in the car. It wasn't her drugs, but it was like the last renter left drugs.
Oh, she just didn't
Clean the car correctly. So the next renter calls us like pissed, like there is drugs in this car, like, you know, like all this. And after that, I was like, you know what? And I was like, let me just take over everything. And I kind of like took my initiative. I was like, let me show you what I could do.
Nice.
And that's when I started the car rental company. And it was almost cars at first. We started with those 4, and then he bought the Porsche GT3 RS, which he sold, and then got the Lambo McLaren. So we had 7 paid off cars that we were renting on Turo. And then we saw how much income those cars are generating, and we're like, well, if a car is averaging this, why can't we just finance cars and then make profit from these? And then that's when I started putting like my own capital up front and stuff too, to get my credit and like my own cars.
Nice. So now looking at today, how many cars under management? How many?
How deep?
Give us numbers.
The size of the fleet.
So we've downsized a bit. We're at 32 right now.
Okay.
10 exotics. The rest are normal. We have 8 cars on monthly rentals. So just kind of like passively in a way. Like they just get paid out once a month. You know, they bring it in once a month. We check the car, things like that. And yeah, we have 32 cars.
So for those like monthly rentals, are you guys responsible for oil changes?
Yes.
That's it's whatever.
But it's like, I mean,
oil changes
It's
like
like
100
30
a monthly
$50
rental's like anywhere probably from like $1,200 on cheap end to like $2,000. So it's like if they're paying $2,000 for a payment that's $600, it's like a $70 oil change doesn't really change anything.
Yeah.
So
Especially when the oil changes twice a year.
no, it's like every 5,000 miles, which is the one downside of renting is people actually put miles on your car, right? It's like people actually drive them. Like when someone buys a Lambo, they're gonna
preserve it.
yeah. When they rent a Lambo, they're like driving it up and down everywhere they can.
Which is essentially that's the purpose.
Yeah, I mean, that's the purpose of renting it, right? Because the depreciation also is big. And, you know, being in the rental game, like, I've had one guy rent my car for 2 days. He bought unlimited miles. And I was like, oh, whatever. And he put, like, 950 miles in 2 days in the car. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, I got to up my unlimited mile price. That's a lot of miles on the car. And basically 1,000 miles in 2 days.
Wow. That's
Probably went to California and came back.
Yeah, he did a rally.
What the
He did a rally in
fuck?
a car, yeah.
He just wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
He's gonna join the
all-
race that's gonna happen here, bro.
It was all
Oh,
through
the
Turo.
F1.
Yeah, it was all through Turo, so obviously like I couldn't like charge more or whatever. But it just kind of gave me that learning lesson of like, okay, like if you're gonna charge, like give people the option of unlimited miles, like make it worth your while, because it could be either 10 over miles or it could be 1,000 miles over. So
Nice.
So once you started doing Turo, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming most of these cars were through Mo, right?
yeah.
When did you start buying your own cars and doing it on your own credit?
So the first car I bought, ironically enough, wasn't even for Turo. It was for Uber automation.
Uh-huh.
So I bought a car, gave it to an Uber driver. They were driving for me. I was making my payments on it. But I would say maybe like 7 months in, I bought a Mercedes, my first ever car, and then a month later I bought a Charger.
You're scatty?
Yeah, the one that got stolen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
but yeah, because those cars are super easy to get stolen, but you like insurance
Yeah.
automatically cashes you
Well,
out.
well, yeah. Now here's the other inviting question. How old were you when that? Because you right now you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
So, and if we're talking about something that happened a year or two ago,
Mhm.
That's still 18, 19.
Yeah.
you were 18, 19 years old when you were buying these cars.
Yeah. So the first time I drove a Lambo was right after my 19th birthday.
Mm-hmm. And now how many Lambos do you own?
In the fleet, I have 3.
In the fleet, you guys have
Yeah.
3 Lambos.
In the fleet, I have 3.
Nice.
It just, honestly, it's surreal. And I think what's craziest about it is how accustomed you get to things, right? Like, I go on my phone all the time, and, you know, Snapchat memories always pop up. And I used to be, like, this huge car spotter. And, like, I have videos pop up all the time of, like, me, like, going to car meets or, like, being in the middle of the road and, like, seeing a Lambo. And, like,
And you were like, oh my God.
like, in my Civic, like, I'm racing a Lambo. And, like, obviously, I'm, like, pedal to the metal. They're just cruising. And I, like, pass them a little bit. And I'm like, all excited and stuff. And now, like, going back to today, it's like I appreciate these cars so much, but it's like such a different environment that I'm in
Right.
for these cars. I mean, there's a Ferrari parked right outside. It's
Yeah.
not mine, but there's like, you know,
Yeah, there's these
Yeah.
sports cars right outside, and it's super
Yeah.
funny, especially for when I meet people that are like not from major cities and they
Mhm.
see a nice car and they're like, ah, okay, dude, okay, random thing. I went to Mexico and I met this this girl brought 2 of her kids that from like the big Nayarit, like a very very small town in down south of Guadalajara, Mexico.
Mhm.
They didn't know what an elevator was. They
What?
were flipping out about the elevator, and they didn't know about escalators either. They thought they were magical stairs, and
No
I was
way.
standing there like looking at them with my daughter, who's like they're all just the same age as them, and I was like, holy shit, how privileged is myself and my daughter,
Yeah.
where these kids and their innocence was so beautiful. Was like the fact that like holy shit,
Authentic and raw.
they can they're seeing like a magical stairs, and I'm like, this is an escalator.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm pretty sure like it's the same thing. Like now you're accustomed to this magical escalator,
Yeah.
right? And now this is your daily life.
Yeah, and it's cool, like you said, it's all the people from weird places. I mean, not weird, but like smaller cities and stuff. Like when they come from like Wyoming or like Kansas, or when they come from like, I don't know, these other Iowa places that people don't see these cars all the time. And, you know, because a lot of people still have that shock factor. Like if you drive a Lambo down the strip, you'll have everyone's neck turned at you at least 10 phones out.
Yeah, even mine, I'll be like, oh, that's a nice Lambo right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And it's like everyone, like attention's all on you.
Or I'll be like, still stock.
It's a rental.
It's a rental.
Daddy's money.
Daddy's money.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I watched a podcast about it too, which it's you could tell when someone rents a Lambo when they're on the strip because they're redlining it. You know, they're fully going. They have the windows down and they're just looking everywhere. They want the attention. They want to be like, who's looking at me? You know, compared to someone that owns the car, they're gonna have the windows up, just cruising in the car. They don't care for the attention. It's their car. So it's you can definitely see the difference. So I mean, I'm still that obnoxious kid that just
Right.
redlines the car.
Yep. Totally understandable. But no, that's a good question. So okay, now here I think Alexis had a different question that we wanted to learn too.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's more for our audience, right? Because we have entrepreneurs and some that are aspiring entrepreneurs. You are 20 right now, correct?
Yeah.
So
You're
around
20?
this time, around 18 through 20, you're doing Turo, right? You're
Yeah.
learning more about it. You're learning the ways. You're getting your own fleet, your own cars.
Yeah.
How did you manage to get a Lamborghini, a Ferrari under your name at the age of 20? Like, give us the quick rundown.
Give us the sauce, man. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm 28. Dude, I need to have a Lamborghini right now.
Exactly.
Come on, give me the sauce right now. Let's go.
Well, I mean, you have
The
two
in-and-out
beautiful
sauce.
people with credit here.
There you go.
Three.
We're all three.
Three.
First
All right,
ones,
three
yeah.
beautiful people that know about credit. But I mean, it's just building your credit and knowing the right people.
Uh-huh.
It's very interesting once you know the right people, what you could do, right? So obviously, you start looking at things as a math equation, right? With anything in business, I mean, you guys all see numbers. I know you see numbers. Numbers is like your thing. Once numbers make sense, that's all that has to make sense to you.
Right.
So it's like you see a Lambo to afford one, it's like $4,000 to $5,000 a month, including insurance, right?
Okay.
So it's like, what do you need to generate to make this car profitable, right? And I tell people all the time, I'm like, at $4,000 or $5,000 a month, you need to rent it 5 times a month for $1,000. You could rent
Okay.
it 10 times a month for $500.
Okay, so question about
Yeah.
this, because I know you have the connections already.
Yeah.
And I've already met I got a funny phone call a few weeks ago about the owner of the dealership where you guys buy the cars that they need someone to fix credit.
Okay.
Right? It's a girl, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So she I was talking to her and they were like, oh yeah, I know Mo and Naim,
Yeah.
and they gave me your contact. I was like, sweet, awesome. I need I need you, because I will definitely want to buy one. I would love to meet her in person, but because here's the thing, if you yourself are not making that money, it's the company, right? So how do you at 18 years old, 19, 20 years old prove to her that, hey, is it because of multiple experience, because Mo and you, that relationship status, like, hey, I'm with Mo and we've bought multiple cars through you already, so you trust us already? Or is it like, oh, hey, like for example, I haven't started Turo. Let's say I want to start Turo.
Yeah.
In San Diego, or hey, I want to expand it here with you guys. I want to partner up with you guys. How can I go to a dealer, to her, and prove myself that, hey, I'm not just gonna buy this car for myself. I'm gonna be spending $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on San Diego Turo marketplace over there, and it should be generating me money. Or should I already have I already do this?
I think it's back to who you know. I mean, yeah, walking into a dealership and, you know, they know who you are, what you do with the car. That doesn't mean that they could approve you, right? Because it's a bank say. But like now, which for legality reasons, but there's connections where you could know the people that clicks yes on your approval, and you just give them a fee.
Well, here's the other thing. All the other people watching here don't have the relationships you have. So if let's say I'm the person right behind that camera right there, Naim, tell me what I need to do to make this happen?
If you have the capital and want to invest, reach out to me. I mean, it's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Because like I know the people that could get you an approval for $300,000 loan with only having one auto loan ever.
Well, we're doing this today, right now. That's what we're doing.
Does it matter? Quick question. Does it matter like the auto loan? Like, say it's a simple car, like some $20,000 car. Doesn't matter.
No, just because. But I mean, you have to pay a fee to the person approving it, right? It's like the
How
underwriter.
big is the fee?
Depending on the car.
Okay, so if I want to buy a Lambo,
It's a much bigger fee than.
I mean, yeah. So like, it's crazy because back to it, you could basically get a car. Like I could go and get a Lambo today with 0 down. Because they could approve me.
Because you already have the relationships, they trust you.
Yeah. Wait, so I could get it with 0 down, and I just have to pay the person a fee. Whether that fee is $10,000 or $15,000, obviously that's not money I'm putting down towards the car. That's what I'm paying them. But I'm able to get a Lambo, right, with 0 down, and then I know that if the Lambo's generating, say, minimum $10,000 a month, I'm like, okay, then it takes me 3 months to make my money back, including all the payments and stuff, and now I own a Lambo for free without ever having to do anything or putting money down on this car.
Correct. Another thing, Disconnect. Do they do 120-month loans?
No, and they don't do business loans either.
It's all on the
person
person.
now.
Well, here's the beautiful thing. You could probably do the big loan once. It's on your credit report now.
Yep.
And then now other banks are going to pre-approve you already because if you already, after multiple months of having it on your credit report.
Exactly.
Then, you probably just have to pay that connection once.
And then from
there
you're
set.
Right?
You're set.
And then obviously
Which
like.
honestly, truly is really good.
Yep.
So, I mean, even like it makes sense because like if I want to get a car and they want so much down, I'd rather pay a connect and not spend that much down, if that makes sense. Like
that's
now.
So that's going to be your down payment regardless.
Regardless, yeah. But it's like, for example, I was looking at a Nissan GTR for a personal car. And if I were to get it myself, if I could get approved by myself, it'd probably have to put like anywhere from like $10,000 to $20,000 down minimum.
Even after all the experience you already have?
Yeah, just because, I mean, I have auto loans open, right?
That's true. Okay.
So I have auto loans already. But with my connection, it's like $4,800. And that's all I have to put down. And it's like, I cut my cost so much less.
So
Okay,
what's
wait,
the price
the
for that?
$4,800.
It's like 4%.
The $4,800 goes
That's
to
it?
that person.
To the underwriter that approves it. That's it.
Okay, but that
fee
doesn't
is,
go
yeah.
towards the loan.
No, that's nothing towards the loan.
That's just for them to click yes.
For them to click yes, yeah. But now you got this loan. And like you said, if you do it once and now your credit shows that you've been approved for $250,000 for a car, you'll never get denied for a car again.
But your issue right now is that you have too many
Let me do
cars.
some
Yes.
math.
That's your issue right
Yeah,
now.
my issue is that I have too many auto loans open.
Wouldn't you want to just refinance all those and then go on the corporate side and start putting on an LLC?
Yes
instead?
and no. So I wanted to refinance all my cars, but with interest rates being so high right now, I'd be paying more interest.
Plus
But
a
now
fee.
you can probably get more. So what's stopping you right now, Naim? What's the thing that's your bottleneck right now on your business?
What's stopping me? Insurance.
Insurance? What do you mean?
Insurance. So,
It did double.
well,
Insurance did double.
insurance did go up in Vegas, but
In California too.
really? Okay, so insurance went up, but not only that, right? When you're renting cars direct to consumer, you have to have proper insurances, right?
Right.
As a rental company, how you do a rental insurance claim is first you go after the person's company, insurance company, right? You make sure that they're fully validated to rent your car, and that if anything were to happen to the car, their insurance will pay out. But what happens is in the scenario where that their insurance doesn't pay out or something, or they gave you fake documents or whatever the case may be, they cancel their policy, you have your insurance at second hand. When it comes to exotic cars, these policies are so expensive, right? Any car over like $75,000, $80,000, your policy premiums are just through the roof. So obviously recently, I mean, I've gotten $1.4 million in cars in the last month. Getting so many exotics so together and trying to open a policy, the out-of-pocket expense is ridiculous. So what I'm trying to figure out is basically the best way to get all these cars insured properly without having to like break the bank or like, you know, the best financial way to do it. So right now that's my biggest obstacle because I can't have these cars fully insured. And obviously that makes me be very nitpicky of who I rent to because I don't want to risk a car. Like if I rent it to someone that doesn't have proper insurance, my insurance is the only one liable.
Well, because you've been doing this for a quote unquote long time, you already have recurring clients, correct?
Yes.
And you already have elite clients.
Correct. So there's
elite clients.
yeah. So there's clients that make sense that like no matter who, like whenever they come, whatever car they want, I know they're fully covered, right? The clients that have their own Lamborghinis at home or their own Ferraris at home, that have these huge policies that are insured for them and any car they drive, not just their car at home.
What is that called? Liberty Mutual?
The insurance company?
Or no, never mind.
Liberty Mutual.
Liberty Mutual is a company.
Yeah, Liberty
Oh, my
Mutual,
God.
fun fact, is a company that insures all of Turo's cars.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, like, here's the thing, though.
Fun fact.
There's been car rental companies before. Like,
Yes.
there's Hertz. There's even the big ones.
Yeah.
If they figure it out, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why Hertz, like, if you see, they don't really go luxury because the insurance aspect is so, like, hard of it. And the more claims you have, every claim you have is so much more subject to get dropped of the policy, right? Because insurance doesn't want to pay out. So if I have, like, 2-3 claims in a year, I'll probably get dropped, right? Because that's too many claims. They're paying out so much for all these expensive cars. So that's why you want to still validate these other people. But, you know, as a person that acts as an entrepreneur, I want to make sure my assets are always safe. And I want to make sure that all my assets
Absolutely.
are protected. So I'm not going to just be like, hey, I want to make a quick buck. I want your $1,000. Like, I don't care. I'm going to make sure that if I do rent the Lamborghini out direct to consumer, that he's fully insured and properly insured to give him the vehicle.
Personal financial question.
Yes.
How much are you actually paying for like all the insurances like combined? For all 34 vehicles?
So some vehicles I don't pay insurance for. Our clients pay their insurance for their cars, and those cars are subjectly more just on Turo, just because it makes Turo insures the car. So
Yeah,
if we
makes-
talk quick insurance about Turo, 30 minutes before the trip to 30 minutes after the trip, you're fully insured through Turo, which is Liberty Mutual. So the insurance really doesn't have to matter. And there's in some instance where some people want to drive their car when they're in town, because a lot of people that have cars with us don't actually own the car. I mean, don't actually live here. So when they come in town, they want to drive it. And when you have renter's insurance, it's only covered when it's for a rental purpose. So like if you came and bought me a Nissan GTR and you're like, hey, like rent my car, and you come in town and you drive it and you crash it, and then you only had rental insurance, you would not be covered. Just because obviously, you know, you can't rent your own car.
Nice.
So insurance costs, I mean, I won't give the full breakdown, but I'll tell you this. When we had the Lambo McLaren, it was like, we were paying like almost like $10,000 almost a month just for insurance.
10,000 a month?
Yeah.
Wait, so really? Somebody was saying that it was like $150 for a Rolls Royce.
No.
I don't know who that is.
That's because like you don't ever hear about Rolls Royces getting in car accidents.
That's probably personal insurance too. That's probably just somebody with their personal insurance. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Not renters.
Not renters. That's just like somebody like you buying your Rolls Royce and insuring the car. Which, I mean, could be typical because, I mean, Rolls Royces really don't get in accidents. And if they do, they're so big that nothing really bad happens to them.
Except, yeah, no, the friggin' emblem thing
The
hides
spirit
it.
of ecstasy just...
Crazy.
That's crazy. So right now you're covering like paying around $10K a month.
a little bit more now, but yeah, it's
Because that sounds like the payment is just as much as the
what the car
rent.
could generate, which is why like a lot of people can't stay in business, or if they do, they skip corners, which, you know, I'll be completely transparent. I did at the beginning too, right? I didn't know the full business.
You gotta do what you gotta do just to get it going.
I didn't know the full business, and I skipped some corners. I had to bite the bullet of some things, $3,000, $4,000 costs, because I didn't have the proper insurances. But obviously that made me level back and like understand the full prosperity of how companies work and how insurance works. So a lot of people, I mean, probably out of every 10 companies, 8 will fail. Just because they don't understand how expensive insurance actually is, and like how much you're actually spending into these cars, right? And a lot of people that have rental car companies move on to other things and other like houses and all this, because sometimes it's not even lucrative if you're paying so much for insurance, right? The more claims you have too, the more your insurance raises too.
So that's the bad things. Like if you have too many claims, they will drop you, which will make then finding insurance so much harder.
Yep.
And then also the time while you get insured, you can't make any money because you can't rent any of your cars because they don't have proper
Yep.
insurance.
So,
Dude,
that's why, like, you know, a lot of people hate on Turo, and I think Turo is such a great platform because anyone could just post a car without having to have any insurance, right? Because Turo insures that for you. Obviously, you give them a percentage for that. You don't have to do any marketing. You don't have to, like, vouch anyone's ID, make sure they're real or not, because Turo basically does everything for you. Obviously, on contrary, you do have to give them a percentage and like obviously get on
But
these fees.
it's so much worth it.
It's so worth it.
It's the peace of mind, I would say, that
Yeah.
you can't really buy.
Yeah, and it's also like, I mean, if I were to start a company today, I would still use Turo. Like if I had if someone gave me 5 cars today to start, I would still start with Turo just because I could build clients out with that.
Well, there's also Turo isn't the only one that's out there. There's also there's other websites.
Turo's the only one that's more for higher end cars, right? Because there's also like, we'll share one out of business, but there's also like Hire Car, which is more like Uber drivers and stuff, get around, same thing. It's more like your natural day, like maybe like even like a Tahoe and stuff, but like nothing like exotic, like a Corvette and stuff like that.
Is that an app?
Okay.
Yeah, get around then.
So
Hire
actually,
Car.
so I want to start again. Like I said, I want to
Yeah.
start doing Turo just because for multiple reasons. I want to be able to get my parents some cars that they're reliable
Yeah.
and put those cars on their thing. But I also want to drive a little bit of nicer cars, like that look like luxury, but they're not almost there. Like the Corvettes. Like the
Yeah.
Corvettes are like what 60,000 ish,
Yeah.
but they look so nice outside and inside. So I would love to get approved for one of those. I have an auto loan right now on my personal credit report I bought it in December. It's been 6 months. So that 6 month of car rental history for the first time is there now.
For your first time?
Yeah, did but again, my dad was a motor mechanic, so we bought in all cars
Cash, okay.
or like secondhand and shit like that without a dealership. I've had a GTR before. But it was it was through my parents' credit because it was better back in the day when I didn't even know about credit before.
Yeah.
And then I also drove a Camaro Super Sport. That was such a nice car. So I want to start driving those cars again. And right now in the neighborhood where I'm having my parents at, it's not stupid dangerous, but it's not the best. So I don't want to be parking a Lamborghini in front of my house. But hey, if they steal it, then I guess insurance will cover it. But then I don't want more claims. So, until I move my parents out of that place and into like a way more luxury or nicer suburban area, I can start getting the Rolls Royces and Ferraris that I want. But for now, maybe a Corvette would be nice. So for those exactly, like for example, I'm asking for myself. I'm trying to be selfish right now.
Asking for a friend.
Right, asking for a friend. I want to get a Corvette. I want to do that. What is the best course of action that I should take?
I think is do research on like your market, right? Every market.
What market are you talking about?
Just
the San
Diego,
market,
like San Diego,
like the renting market,
rental
or like
market.
the buying market.
The buying market, anytime you look for a car, just always look nationwide. I mean, even if you have to go somewhere else and save $5,000, it's worth it. You know, I bought in cars in Arizona, California, Colorado, things like that, just
Should
because it
you
makes
get
sense.
pre-approved first, or have the car in mind and then get approved?
Depends on the situation. Sometimes I just go in there, I'm like, just run my credit, I don't care.
Because you got Eddie who will remove all the hard inquiries for you.
Hey Eddie, I did it again.
Yeah, you did it. No, dude. Okay, so here's the funny thing. I'm gonna give you guys some sauce right here. I have a lot of friends that do Turo. So I got this guy who does Turo in San Diego, and he has the Rolls Royce. He's had all those nice cars, and every single month it'll be that phone call. He's like, "Yep, Eddie, I'm at the dealership. Just know that they're about to run my credit. Tomorrow, I'm gonna send you the money for the hard inquiry removal." And here's the cool thing. So as soon as hard inquiries get posted on your credit report, I can dispute them right away. And not until like a month later when the account, like the one out of the 20 things that got approved
Opens.
it reports on the credit report, all those hard inquiries are already long gone because they were not linked to anything. So if you guys do this and you guys want to do the cold car rental business, first of all, hit up Naim. He'll explain everything. And then if you guys are buying cars for like multiple times throughout the year, you can always contact me. I can remove them. As soon as you guys do it, just let me know. We get to get ready to go. As soon as the hard inquiries hit, we dispute them. They're gone in a few days.
It's just like, hey, I did it again.
I did it again, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously being in an environment around people that taught me credit, right? Because at the beginning I didn't understand credit. I didn't know like what you guys taught me or other people in the credit game have introduced me to. So I was more scared of it, but now it's like, you know, I've probably...
Once you understand the basics.
Yeah, it's like
wow,
removing an
this is
inquiries... I mean, it could be costly, or you know, it could be a waste, some time consuming. But like once you know how to do it, or have someone that can do it for you, it's still like worth it.
It's an oil change.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So definitely, get the pre-approval letter if you can.
Get a pre-approval, even just walk into the dealership, but do the market on your city, right? Because like, you know, a big thing that happened here firsthand was when Tesla's market crashed of the pricing, or not crashed, but like Tesla dropped the pricing. Tesla just became so sought after, everyone bought them, and then it just crashed the market on Turo.
It's saturated the market.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing, because I want a Tesla. I personally want the fucking door. Looks super badass. Did the car like charging and stuff.
Yeah.
I want that, and the ludicrous speed. I want all of that. That sign me up. But then when I look at the Turo market, I did a little bit of research. Just went on Turo, and by research I mean went on Turo and see like, oh, how many Teslas is there? For days.
There's over
4
200.
days.
I mean,
just Teslas.
If you just look up Teslas, it'll say 200 plus because it only shows 200 plus. But I mean, there's so many Teslas. And the thing is, right, when there's so many of one car, it just makes it competitive. Because like, if everyone starts at $100, that one person is gonna go to 99, then the next person is gonna go lower than him, right? Because
it's a price war.
That $1, $2 to you doesn't make a difference,
right?
If you're like everyone's at 100, I'm gonna go 98 because I want my car to be rented more.
Yeah, you're going to like who hits the bottom first.
And then everyone just undercuts, and now a Tesla Model 3 could be rented out for $49 a day, which is like it's not even worth it. Yeah, it's like why are you gonna rent a Tesla for? Why are you buying a car to rent it for $49 a day? Because a lot of people do it just to buy it. I understand if it's a person that just has it at home and doesn't care, but a lot of like people are buying these cars and just going straight rock bottom because they want the car.
So actually, quick business tip on that. So, how do you distinguish it? So, for example, how would you distinguish yourself from doing that? Is that you would change the product? Like for example, I saw on Tesla, like the Tesla list of Teslas, hundreds of Teslas, but one of them stood out. One of them was wrapped.
Can I guess? Oh.
Was wrapped in a ceramic, like chrome, like depending on it looked rainbowish. If the sun hit it, it looked like a fucking rainbow.
Iridescent color.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and it looked super cool. And guess what? That one had the highest reviews, the most trips, the most everything, because everybody. So every white Tesla was there except that one. Except that one was like super cool, shiny, and it was different. It was unique.
Because if you were looking at it, as you were driving, everybody was going to be looking at you.
Yes, exactly. Because what you said, when you're renting something, especially on the higher end, you want every person. You're on vacation. You want everybody getting attention.
Yeah.
So you would just change that, and that's how you like. No, my price is this high because you get all these better benefits.
Yep.
Like for example, I do credit repair, dude. There's so many credit repair companies. What's gonna make me different is that I do so much value stacking into what I offer into my credit repair service versus just getting credit repair. Does that make sense? So if you can probably switch that, so any business owner here, whether it's Turo or any business, is like, even though you create a blue ocean in the red waters, basically. So that's what I would do, especially on the car stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely everyone wants to differentiate themselves, and obviously, but it is a race to the bottom these days, right? And I think with the biggest thing that's wrong with Turo today is the fact that everybody, Turo doesn't have like a price bracket. So in that sense, they have an age bracket, right? Depending on the car's MSRP, there's different ages. So the lowest is 21, then there's a 25, then there's 30 plus. But what's very interesting about Turo is I could post my Urus and rent it for $50 a day. And Turo could not do anything about it. Like I could post my Urus for $50 a day, and Turo, I could rent it. And if the car gets in an accident, anything like that, like there's no like con or anything, like nothing really gets affected, you know what I mean? Like Turo's just taking this risk at a $50 rate. Like I think if Turo's gonna succeed, they're gonna have to put some type of range there where like a Lamborghini has to be at least $400 or something, or at least $500, because I mean, there's people that scam, there's people that do things that aren't truth, but like I've rented a car before where I've rented it on Turo for $50 a day for Turo's insurance and then take the cash away from it. Just because I wanted the insurance, they didn't have insurance.
Oh, correct. Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, I mean, I did it with him too. So he rented the car. I charged him $50. Then he paid separate, like the remainder, and he got to enjoy the car. Everything was insured, and now Turo makes a little bit of money. But imagine, like, God forbid something did happen, the car got totaled, right? Everything went through Turo. Like, what? Turo has to pay a $250,000 car for $40 trip, $50 trip. It just doesn't make sense. And I think that's the biggest failure with Turo is like, if you look at recommended prices, it's just so ridiculous.
And that's actually something you have an issue with Amazon, where people start diving the price of or start selling, and now you're trying to like make money on tiny margins because some dumbasses on trying to like they don't understand how business works. They're just like,
Correct.
let me
Yeah.
just get rid of inventory and
Yeah.
nosedive the
That's-
fucking price.
Yeah, that's why companies have to enforce MAP policies.
Yeah,
And so if Turo started doing that, that would be better for everyone.
for
Actually.
literally
And
everybody.
I think it's like, if everyone had a Tesla and the lowest price was $100, everybody would still be renting. Like no one could go lower than that. Like everyone would still win.
Well, pitch it to them. Maybe you can work for Turo.
yeah.
That would be cool. But it's like, it's crazy. Like I got a Huracan's recommended price on Turo for 24 hours, like $384. And that's before their fees and like, or before like what they take from you. Like the Turo recommended price for a C8 Corvette's like $119. Turo's recommended price for like a C7 is like $72.
Do you actually listen to?
No. That's just like, so like it'll show you recommended. And what's crazy about it is obviously they prioritize people that listen, right? So like people that do that price, you'll see your car go out more. So it's kind of like a hassle you have to deal with it because it's like I'm not gonna list I'm gonna be smart with like the car. I'm not gonna let my Lamborghini go out for $300 a day. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah, no,
it
absolutely
just
not.
doesn't make sense, right?
So
But if
supply
that
demand.
one person does it, there's that one Lambo that's $400, and that Lambo's the only one that's gonna
Get
be
rented out.
push. You look up Lamborghini, it's the first one. You look up sports cars, the first one. So that's like, and I think if Turo fixes that, I think like the whole business would just spiral and just succeed a lot more.
And it'll be better for them too.
It will. They make more money.
Yep.
They make more money. They're not like, I mean, here in Vegas 2 years ago, you could rent a Slingshot. Anywhere here, they were anywhere from $400 to $600 a day.
Yeah, your dad was telling me.
And then there's this company here in Vegas, which I don't want to care to name drop or anything, but they got Slingshots, convertible Mustangs, and C8 Corvettes. And C8s were going for about like $399 on Turo, and private was like $800. And they were renting them on Turo for $179. The Slingshots that were
4 to 600.
4 to 600 were $39 on Turo
What?
because they have like 40 of them, so they don't care. They just want all the clients.
They were making $1,200 a day. Plus.
Damn.
Yeah, so all the Slingshots $39 a day, all the C8s $179 a day, and then the Mustangs were like $50 a day.
You
And
know what
everyone
the-
else was getting like 100.
And you know what the crazy thing is with those Slingshots? They're all financed.
Yeah.
They're all financed. And those Slingshots come out like what, 21, 25K?
Yeah, but what's crazy is, you know, with these like insurance companies is they don't care, or like these little companies, they just want quick money, right? So what happens is they get a Slingshot for a good price, they finance it, the car gets in an accident, and now they get paid out, but they get $4,000 more. They just go buy another one. Same thing, and they just keep doing that. And the money they're making is actually from insurance, not from renting the car. Which is crazy because to Turo, like, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're doing all your protocols, you can have 10 claims in a month. Like, nothing really happens because Turo's taking care of everything. So when there's people like that in the industry, right, it's so hard to compete and it's so hard to stay, you know, above.
They're trying to become like the Uber, the Airbnb. They're trying to like monopolize the renter, and they're just driving every competitor out because they can't. They're the Walmart of grocery stores because they can just lower the price. They can even give it away for free, and they're still going to become profitable because it's all data collection. It's all just saturating the market.
Which kind of sucks, and that's why I'd say like a lot of people won't succeed, because if you start now, especially with these cars that so many are on this platform, it's going to be so hard to turn a profit. Is you don't know what you're doing.
Also, something that you like failed to mention, or hypothetically speaking, if I wanted to do Turo tomorrow, can I list a Lamborghini?
So, no, but
I know.
I've actually heard recently that the rules have changed.
So what is that rule that we're both thinking
So
of?
the rule before used to be you have to be considered a power host, right? So there's
I thought it was 100 rides.
100 rides. So
100 rides is power host?
yes, an all-star host is 10. A power host is 100. But now they've changed it to be an all-star host. So you can have 10 rides that are 5 stars to be on the exotic realm, which is what I've heard. And I've had one of my mentees, he had like 24 rides, and he wanted to buy yours, and he tried posting it, and it let him. So I'm guessing
it did let him?
it did let him post it.
Wow.
So I guess
What a flip.
so I guess that's a beneficial thing to them. But before it used to be any car over $150,000, you had to have over 100 5-star trips.
Hopefully he's not the clown that puts the Urus for 400.
For $49.
No, yeah, I mean, if I had a years for $49 on Turo, that car would be gone every day.
I think so.
Right, and you'll be losing a lot of money.
Yeah. Depreciation, maintenance. I mean,
Not-
at
you wanna
$400 a
use-
day, I can't even afford tires every month.
Big facts.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So, I mean, this was a great podcast. I think we learned a lot. So thank you for providing. Yeah, you provided a lot of value. So lastly, if you want to look at the camera, plug yourself in. Let the people know how they can provide value to you.
So I guess my number one source of communication with me or like social media platform is Instagram. It's Naim Garcia, but the I at the end is a 1. TikTok's the same. My YouTube is the same, and I'm gonna be posting a lot more on YouTube, informative content on YouTube. So just kind of break it down. I'm posting 3 times a week, and I'm gonna be just posting basically the day in the life of running my operations every week. So I basically do 2-3 days into one video, and then just keep doing it like that. And then little by little, I'll do like car reviews or what I think, or if I go to like a car meet, or if I go to like special events, I'll be doing those videos separately and stuff.
Now that you mentioned car meet, what's the name of the big car meet that happens here in Las Vegas? SEMA, and when is that?
November. I think.
Oh, so it's not around the corner.
Formula One.
Yeah, Formula One.
I was gonna say it's gonna be during Formula One.
Around that time, yeah.
Wow. I have a feeling that there's gonna be a shit ton of rallies, but yes, perfect. Anything, all your social media.
It's all Naim Garcia now.
And then so if you come into Vegas, you guys message him. He'll hook you up with a nice ride. And if you want to learn how to get started with Turo and renting your whole car business, definitely reach out to him. He's gonna tell you, because I'm gonna be talking to him right now about it. I'm gonna be pulling some strings right now.
Say points only for 10% off.
There you go. Points only. Let's go. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Again, remember, every Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll see you guys there. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Later, guys.
Am I looking at the camera or you guys, though?
Camera's over there.
Camera.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
but when I'm talking, you guys, though.
Yeah, but we're just talking to us. Okay, cool. Welcome back to the Only Points podcast, you guys. No, I've probably got to do that again.
Go for it.
Okay.